hello again, everybody, and welcome back to Pluribus Diaries. I'm Annie.
I'm Jen.
And today we are going to discuss the season 1, episode 5 of Pluribus, which is entitled Got Milk?
Yes, it is.
Before we jump right into this one, I have to say once again that I am having trouble deciding which episode's my favorite. I don't know if you're having this problem continually like I am.
We'll see. I feel like maybe this was the first one that I didn't immediately think, oh yes, this is my favorite. So
okay, interesting.
We might have one that's not at the very top of my list immediately, which is, I mean, it has to happen eventually. There has to be something.
Well, that's true.
Not my new favorite every time. It would make all the previous episodes feel bad. So
that's true.
This might be the first time it hasn't happened for me, but it's hard to say over the long run how it will shake out. But we'll discuss as we go.
Exactly. Well, I had a couple tweets/emails I wanted to read from some people regarding sprouts, which I thought this is really funny. Sheila Albertson's Bangs on Twitter said, thinking about how in both scenes where Carol's having dinner, she's eating what looks like heated TV dinners. And on Sprout's site, they have a section featuring her faves from the store. And there are a few listings for their prepared meals. Now, okay, I have gone to the Sprout site and I can't find what she's referring to, but she has screen capped like all the pictures of the meals.
And oh my gosh.
Jen, and like people are trying to match and find which meals she's actually eating throughout the show, which I think is really funny.
I love it. I love it.
These heated, and we made fun of these on episode 3 or whenever that was.
A little bit, yeah.
A little bit. These, they go up to like $18.
What? For that little tiny portion?
One little heated TV dinner. Like,
oh my gosh, no.
There's something wrong here. There's something wrong.
Not right. I mean, that better be pretty friggin' fancy. That's all I can say.
Right. And then on this same thread, Pamela Stafford responded, the irony of her thinking being independent is going to a supermarket for a pre-made dinner, as opposed to have dinner delivered to her. Shrug emoji. She needs to plant a garden to get a food supply out of the hive control, which I think is actually a really good idea. I mean, if you're going to be disconnected, like our good friend Manusos, you got to go all the way, Carol.
You got to be self-sufficient.
She's still... begrudgingly so, but she is still relying on them to get
she kind
her
of
food.
Is. Yeah,
which
she
I found
is.
Interesting.
Yep, she's not a homesteader.
No, not at all.
That's not Carol's style. It's not, nor mine, so I get it, Carol.
So we also got an email from Nat that said, you were discussing Sosha going into cardiac arrest and what caused the drug or the joining. I like Annie's name for them. Haha. Thank you, Nat. Did it. Well, I don't know lots about the drug, but from what I do know is in small doses, it is used as an anesthetic, but in large doses, it can be used as a legal injection for euthanasia, which I did not know. Thank you, Nat.
Yeah.
That definitely, I mean, that wouldn't have boded well. Baden? Well? I don't fucking know. For Zosha at the time, but we do know that she survives it. So
yeah, thank goodness.
But yeah, I mean, that's interesting because that really could easily almost kill somebody. And that does make sense.
Well, I think with an anesthetic drug, I think it's like one of a couple of drugs they use in lethal injection. And yeah, I think that's like the first drug. So yeah, you got to be careful with what you're doing there.
Right. And I mean, like we discussed before, it could be something as easy as, she looked up the dosage, but maybe, Carol obviously has a high tolerance for this sort of stuff. And maybe Zosha already, she's, weakened and she's got the concussion and she was in a huge state of distress, as we have discussed.
She was. All of those things added up. And we know nothing about her medical history or the medical history of Zosha's body. So who knows? Right. Who knows what kind of pre-existing condition she has or allergies or what have you.
Exactly. But anyway, interesting little tidbit. I like thought that was helpful.
Yeah, nice. Thanks, Nat.
And the last thing I wanted to read was not something that was directed to us, but something that I saw kind of from the Gilliverse, Better Call Saul land. Yeah. And actor Harrison Thomas, who played Lyle on Better Call Saul, who was Gus's employee at Los Pollos Hermanos. Lovely Lyle, who deserved better.
He did.
He just wrote a wonderful little thread, and I wanted to read it. Pluribus is such a great show. Wonderful seeing so many familiar names in the credits, but I wanted to say something beyond that. Ray Seahorn's journey is the kind of story that keeps actors acting, a reminder that every once in a while in this wildly unfair business, great work can cut through the noise. For a working actor, that kind of justice feels rare, almost mythic. Vince said recently, she deserves to be number one on the call sheet. And I've never heard truer words. I only met Ray once at an ADR session for Better Call Saul, but she ran up, gave me a hug, and made me feel genuinely welcomed. It was simple, real kindness, and it stuck with me. Watching her win and keep winning gives the rest of us a little more faith in the work and a little more fuel to keep going. Which I just thought was so lovely and kind of him to say.
Fantastic. Yeah, I just thanks, Harrison. I think that all feels so genuine to me, and it all really fits from everything that I've heard about Ray as well. And it's just very nice to hear that. And I really love his enthusiasm for the work she's doing. And it's not couched in terms of as a woman in the industry or anything like that. No,
right,
just as
not at all.
A top level actor.
Actress to actress.
She's killing it. Yeah, yep. I love it.
I hope she sees that. I hope she gets a chance to see that.
Yeah, I think that was very, very well said. And I'm sure seconded by many in the industry as well.
Yeah. All right. So, ready to jump in the episode, Jen?
Boom. Yes. Let's jump into A Vat of Milk.
Got Milk. Directed by Gordon Smith and written by Ariel Levine.
Yeah.
And, okay, we open up pretty much right after the events of Please, Carol. Not directly, but Zosha's in the hospital, obviously, recovering.
Back in the hospital. They wheeled her back in.
This poor woman has really fucking gone through it, let me tell you.
Jesus, yeah.
But we start with, appropriately, a man just slurping down his little carton of milk.
It's very slurpy, too. I didn't pick up on it the first time I watched it, of course, but the second time I watched it, and I'm like, oh, no, the slurping. Oh, God. So,
you know what? And I think anyone listening to this has seen the episode. Okay. Yeah. So I'm going to do something, Jen, that we haven't done yet on this pod, but I think we need to. I think we need to address the ending. I think we need to address what's going on. Are we going to skip
straight to the ending right now?
I think we need to just talk about what we think is going on at the end, because I have a feeling.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. I have a feeling this is going to, because it's going to inform our discussion.
It absolutely is. So there's no point in being coy about it. Let's just put our cards on the table.
Exactly. So, Jen, okay, after we go through all of this stuff, we see at the very, very end when Carol sees whatever she sees and does the classic sort of horror moment.
Gasp.
And that's where we end. So I think, and I don't know how online you have been or how your brain works after the show, but what we are meant to think is that these are human remains. Is that
I think that's the most obvious.
And I'm not saying that's
conclusion.
What's actually happening, or that's. Yeah. I think that's what we're meant to think at this point. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that, yes. I'm not sure if I'd go so far as to say that's what we're meant to think, but I think that's the obvious thing that the writers and producers know that we'll think.
Well, that's what I mean when I say that's what we're meant to think.
Probably I think it's what we're meant to think.
Yeah, but I'm not.
I guess I'll agree with that.
Yeah, I don't think, and maybe you agree with me, that that's necessarily just the long and short of it. That's all that's happening here. Is that
nothing's ever that simple in Vince Gilligan land.
No, and so I want to say that right off the top, that because I have a feeling we're going to be talking and joking and bringing up the idea of them slurping on human remains throughout this entire episode. But I want to just introduce that caveat that we don't know for sure. That's what's happening, but that's kind of where it's, pointing.
Yes. And I would add that there's what Carol thinks she sees, and there's also what she actually sees. Right. And that's not necessarily the exact same thing.
And what we can see.
And we can't see a damn thing, not yet at least.
Well, I disagree with that.
Well, we'll get into that. Should we get into that now, or do you want to wait until the end?
No, let's get into it now.
All right.
So I have a screen grab that the lovely people on the internet have zoomed and lightened.
Okay, people of the internet.
And I'm pretty sure that's a body.
Oh, no, that really does look like a body. When I was watching the episode for the third time tonight, I did start to think, that does kind of look like we can see a little bit through the just very slightly translucent coverings.
Mm-hmm.
And I see the good people of the internet have enhanced that for us. Is this on our Twitter feed?
No, but I will definitely have it on the Twitter feed by the time this is dropping. So if you want to see the photo, go over to @PluribusPod and check it out.
Exactly.
But yeah, I think whatever she is seeing,
Yeah.
it's possible, and we'll theorize later, but it's possible this could all be just a typical Carol misunderstanding. And
It's
she's going
possible.
to get all hyped up and go do something
Yeah.
crazy and then be proven wrong, which would be hilarious.
Embarrassing, right? Yeah.
But yeah, so I just had to bring that up because as we talk about this episode, I know that it's going to repeatedly come up. It's like even with the slurping in the opening scene, they're slurping on the milk. And then I think about Zosha in the last episode where she was just slurping down her strawberry milk. What's going on?
Carol opened it for her, which is just like, I can't get past that. I can't get past it. The idea that Carol had it in her hand, opened it and handed it to her, which in the moment just felt like a nice little character moment, probably. It certainly didn't seem like something that stood out, but now, looking back on it, it puts it in a whole new light.
Yeah. Well, we see, which I think is really cool, this opening scene, we kind of see the hospital like at work. Like, okay, this is what the hospital looks like now. We have
this is how it
children pushing around, defibrillators. And we have girls with just tatted up torsos just walking around with a stethoscope. Clearly this is a doctor. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. You know what? I looked at her and said, they need to make a TV show, but a doctor that looks like that, because she just looks so kick-ass.
I love it. But I mean, it was just visually, I think it's so great, the diversity in which these people that they have chosen to be the hive mind. Like, it's really, they're all just so interesting. I want to know about them. Like they haven't just picked random people. It does really feel like all of these people have been selected, you know?
And it feels like, even though most of them don't have any lines, they feel like they all have a story, you know, based on what they look like, what they're wearing, how they act, how they move. And that's a very classic Vince Gilligan quality, even going back to the X-Files, that even very minor characters always seemed like fully formed people. And even in this case, basically background characters, even though they're all part of this one hive mind, they all seem fascinating.
Right. And as we discussed, I want to say last episode, it would be interesting to see some of these backstories of the hive people. Like, I don't think we've seen any yet.
No.
Other than, technically Helen, I guess. But like, I don't think I would be, I know, R.I.P. It would be interesting to see what these people's lives were beforehand so that we could sort of make a judgment call on, okay, is their life better now or is it worse?
How would they feel about where they're at right now?
Exactly. With that person with agency, how would that person with agency have felt about this new joining? Yeah. Yeah.
Because you're right. It's an interesting call that they've, I'm sure, made, that we haven't really had that opportunity at all. It would be it would strike me as sort of an obvious idea for storytelling, to sort of show a couple of flashbacks. And here we are halfway through the season, sadness, more than halfway, I guess now. And they haven't gone down that road yet, which I find an interesting choice in itself.
Yeah. And who knows, maybe they will by the end of the season. We'll see.
They might. We'll see. And if and when they do, it will have a lot of impact because we haven't done it yet.
Exactly. All right, so Carol is stressed. We see very clearly the handcuff still attached to her, and she's squeezing one of those little stress dudes with the
squeezy
things.
Little,
yeah. I want to know, did she look stressed and somebody provided that with her because she I mean, I don't think anyone's given her anything right now. So maybe she found it in the desk or something like that.
I think she found it on the desk because she puts it back on the desk before she leaves. So I was just guessing that's where she found it in the first place.
I think you're right.
I think she does need it, though.
That. Yeah, she does. So she found that on her own. Yeah, no one's doing anything for Carol in this scene.
No one's helping Carol anymore.
What's interesting. But before we sort of learned that, we get a call from our favorite ray of sunshine, Lakshmi.
Lakshmi.
I was so shocked to see her again because, I mean, I don't know, like I expect to see her again kind of because I feel like every single one of those 12, 13 people are important. but
Yes.
I was not expecting her in this context whatsoever.
I mean,
So,
the phone is ringing. It could be anybody. I mean,
right.
Lakshmi's not going to be the first name that pops into one's
No
head.
one. And it certainly wasn't the first name to pop into Carol's head.
It certainly was. Although, I give Carol full credit for recognizing her voice right away. So that's good people skills from
I
Carol
mean,
right there.
is it? I mean, I think it was pretty obvious.
I guess, like, how many people could it be, right?
I mean,
But
she
at least
literally
she remembered her name, which I thought was something.
right. Okay, that's true. That's a good
That's
point.
something, I guess. But I was delighted.
Yeah.
I kind of love Lakshmi, so I was quite excited to hear her voice again.
She is just the ultimate manifestation of pure denial. And bless her, I hope she breaks out of it soon. But anyway, Lakshmi is pissed. How dare you make my son cry? She doesn't care about anything else other than reaming Carol out for making Ravi weep. And I wonder how that must have been very unsettling for her. I mean, imagine her in her house.
Yeah.
And he's probably maybe he's also saying, please, Carol. I don't know. Or he maybe wouldn't have because he wasn't in that.
Yeah, but still, area. I mean, the fact that he would have been very even-tempered until now, since the joining, seeing him cry would have been very freaky.
That's a good point. Yeah. And all of them, seeing them all cry last episode was really strange because we're just we're not used to that. Yeah.
We don't see that. So this was good because number one, it gave us a chance to see Lakshmi again, always a delight. And it also confirmed this was a worldwide phenomenon.
And I wonder too, did he say, please, Carol? And that's what clued her in that was what was happening? Or did she just immediately jump to Carol because who the hell else would be doing this?
I think that I kind of thought at first that she just kind of assumed, but she also, Lakshmi seems to know exactly what went on. So I'm guessing that Ravi told her because he says, you gave your chaperone a heart attack.
Right,
so
yes.
She seems to know everything that happened. So I'm guessing Ravi explained at some point.
Right. But she has literally nothing else to say to Carol, even though Carol is telling her, hey, I found some interesting information. Like, this is really helpful. Lakshmi doesn't want to hear it. You don't.
Lakshmi never wants to hear it. Yeah.
Don't make my son cry again. Like, literally, that's all she cries. That's all she cares about. Like, Jen, what is it going to take for this woman?
Honestly, it's going to take apparently being told we can make your son back to the way he wasn't enough for her because she's so far in denial that she doesn't even think there's anything wrong with him.
I mean, and I feel like this character, I mean, we're laughing and joking about it, but I feel like this is such a great example of that kind of person, of almost like a brainwash type situation. I mean, in her own way, she's just so far entrenched into this notion of this is my son and he's fine, that not even very, very obvious direct evidence is going to convince her otherwise. And I think it's tragic, but it's also very interesting because I'm like, what will break this woman? Like, if she hasn't in 7 days seen anything alarming about her son that has made her think that he's not.
Except for him crying, apparently was the only thing that alarmed her.
Right. Then what is it going to take?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think it's a great point that you're making. And it's a real illustration of almost like, it's a kind of like cognitive dissonance maybe, where she loves her son. This appears to be her son. So she loves him. And ergo, there can be nothing wrong with him. She can't accept that reality in her mind. And so the human brain can be very powerful when it has a belief that would disrupt something that's a core part of our values. And obviously, she's a core part of who she is being a mom to Ravi. And anything that's going to disrupt that is something that she cannot compute, I think. And so it's as much as the hive mind are all kind of brainwashed, Lakshmi kind of is as well, isn't she? Except she's kind of done it to herself. So it's all about kind of believing things that are not true on the surface. So I'm really appreciative of the character of Lakshmi to see that, because not everyone has the kind of strength of mind and sensibility that Carol has. And Carol obviously is in a different situation because she's not dealing with family members around her who are like this. Sadly, she's lost the one she had. RIP again. So it's different for her, but it's interesting to see how it would be for somebody else. So I am glad that we have a chance to see that because it makes sense. I can see how someone as over the top and as out there as Lakshmi's behavior seems sometimes, it does make sense from a human behavior perspective.
Yeah, no, exactly. I can see that. So at this point, she hangs up on Carol, and Carol is basically trying to tell, the hive, don't give her my number again. But they are now kind of ignoring her. And it's a little look on her face that, like, she seems almost kind of sad.
She definitely looks a little perturbed and a little thrown. She's thrown. She's concerned. She's like, something's up here.
Something's different. Yeah, this is strange. So she goes in to check up on Zosha, who thankfully is alive.
Thank goodness.
Intubated, doesn't not look in great shape.
Not looking great.
But the woman who is not a doctor, but is a doctor or a nurse in this situation, tells Carol that she's going to be fine, and then, gives her the cold shoulder and leaves.
Yeah.
And Carol reaches kind of for the chair. Did you notice this?
It's I did notice that. Yeah.
She's going to sit, and then she kind of talks herself out of it, like, I don't belong in here. It was a really nice little moment.
It was a very cool little moment. Like, she kind of looks at it and there's a hesitation, and beautifully, just a tiny, tiny moment, beautifully done and conveyed.
Yeah. And it's really putting me into her headspace here. Like, obviously she feels bad about what she did to Zosha.
Yeah.
There's obvious a level of care she's feeling for her that even she doesn't understand, I think, at this point. But she does feel a duty to stay there and make sure she's okay. And so she's not going to stay in her room, because I do feel that Carol was going to do that and then probably was like, she might not even want me in here. I don't deserve to be in here. Kind of like, and so she went outside.
Or maybe also another interpretation I had of that possibly was, okay, that would just be too weird if I just sat here, like, she's not a family member. Why would I do that? And so she just seems to think maybe a little more distance is appropriate.
Yeah. So, but, she's not going to leave the hospital. She goes out to the waiting room and, lays down on the couch with a little pillow and she falls asleep.
She does.
And this is interesting to me, Jen, because this is the first time that I feel like we've seen calculation in the hive. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not like they're just leaving. They wait for her to fall asleep.
They do, don't they? Because that guy, the Mr. Longbeard, looks through the window, and that seems to be the moment, because he sees Carol asleep. And that does seem to be the moment. Yeah, that they decide to leave. Like, they weren't already in the course of doing that. It seemed like they were waiting for the right moment somehow.
Well, and do you know what this made me think of?
Tell me.
More online behavior. This made me think of ghosting.
Yeah, like, they don't want to have to explain anything.
We're not going to have a conversation.
Yeah.
But we're leaving. Bye. I don't want to have to deal with it. We don't need to have any confrontation or fight, or there's no, we're
I don't want to deal with your response. I just want to be out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's a great analogy, because that's exactly what they're doing.
And I also noticed too, when everyone's leaving, and obviously the hive, we see a lot of this precision driving, and it's really great. But it's so nice to be like, everybody's just so orderly, and they are getting into the cars, and no one is honking, no one's cutting each other off. Everything's just
so organized.
I almost didn't even notice that the first time through, but when I was watching it the second time, I was like, something is off here. And what's off here is that no one is honking at each other and cutting each other off, and being even when Carol, wakes up and notices that everyone's left and she goes all the way up to the roof.
Yeah.
You see, like, the cars are they're all kind of moving.
Just moving at the exact same speed.
Yes, there would be a traffic jam from hell if everyone in Albuquerque decided to just leave at the same moment.
Exactly.
But because it's the hive, and because no one's screaming at each other, they're just all lovely in line, moving.
Complete, cooperation. It kind of goes to show how much better traffic would be if we could all just kind of try to be more like the hive, just in traffic.
Just in traffic. Honestly, if people were just a little bit more considerate on the road, there would be less traffic. I think that's actually a demonstrable fact.
I think that it is.
Yeah.
Maybe not. We don't need to quite go this far. But I think that the idea of everyone just acting in concert and being aware of each other, very valuable.
Right.
A great sequence, though, of this, excuse me, the Exodus, as they called it on the official podcast this week. Great music, which was not from our wonderful composer, Dave Porter, but some source music. It's a classical piece. I'll call Deo Gratias, a 36-part canon.
Oh,
by the Hulgus Ensemble. So yeah, I had to listen to it online. It's very beautiful and worked perfectly for this.
Yeah.
Somehow, I don't know how they thought about using this music for this scene, but it sure does work beautifully.
I think we need to give a shout out Thomas Goljevic. I think that's how we say his name. It's difficult to pronounce, but he's the music supervisor, and so he's the one who picks all the source music. Also for Better Call Saul. I mean, he's great.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. And yes, does a brilliant job of that.
Yeah. Okay, so we have to talk about this. Right before Carol goes up to the roof, the phone rings. And she thinks, or no, she doesn't. It doesn't ring. She picks it up and she's dialing 0 because she's trying to find out.
She's like, where is everybody? She needs to get answers.
And Jen, did you recognize the voice?
I mean, I'm ashamed to say I did not on the first watch, but it didn't take me long afterwards to find out. And as soon as I found out, I went back and watched again immediately and said, how did I not recognize that? Because as soon as I knew who it was, it seemed obvious.
It's Patrick Fabian, the famed Howard Hamlin of Better Call Saul.
The man himself.
Which was so funny because I don't know if you heard this little anecdote, but they did not tell Ray that he was going to be calling.
I heard that.
Yeah, and so she's like, I don't know what take they used, but like she held it, like she did not break. And then when the thing was over, she was like, was that Patrick? Like, did you get that?
I thought that was a hoot that they decided just to kind of spring that on her. So it was a fun idea.
And honestly, we get to hear Patrick's voice several times in this episode.
Yeah,
and
we do.
I was just absolutely delighted every single time.
Honestly, yeah. Even when I didn't know it was Patrick, even when I just thought it was just some very pleasant voice, because he does have a very pleasant voice. I enjoyed it every time because I'm like, God, that's a nice voice. So even just as a voice, I liked it.
Anyway, wonderful little, I love that little cameo. And I mean, if you're going to pick somebody from Better Call Saul land to do that voice, he was the perfect choice. So well
he
done.
was absolutely the perfect choice.
So, all right, we're back at Carol's, wait. Yeah, she runs up to the roof. We talked about this, the whole shot.
So she ran up to the roof. Yeah. I'm going to make, for the first, I don't know if this is maybe even kind of the first time on Pluribus Diaries that I'm actually going to say something a little tiny bit critical, which I find very few opportunities to do, quite frankly. So I have to embrace it.
I think I might know what you're going to say.
Maybe, are we joined in a kind of hive mind kind of way? Well, I'm going to tell you what it is. It's something very, it's not a big deal. It's a technical thing.
Yeah.
Which is just how that whole roof scene was filmed. It just had a very CGI vibe, and it took me out of the moment. It was to the point where it took me out of the moment.
I actually agree with you. I think the moment where Carol's climbing out of the thing and she's walking towards the camera, it looked a little green screen to me.
A little green screen.
Okay. Yeah. I was wondering if anyone else thought that. I don't like to be critical, but I had to point it out too. So I'm glad we're of the same mind here.
We're in agreement on that then. Yeah. I mean, like I say, I think it only stood out to me because everything technically is usually very beautiful throughout these episodes, really absolutely bang on. And so I think that's why it stood out a little bit to me. The green screen, and I mean, a very, very ambitious panning shot of the vehicles exiting Albuquerque, which from what I understand took a tremendous amount of technical work to make it happen because of the scope of the pan. But I think probably I'm not an expert, but I'm guessing just because of the nature of what they had to do in terms of removing traffic and then adding traffic back in digital, it doesn't look great as a panning shot. It looks a little choppy, a little blurry. I mean, there's not a lot they can do about that. I'm sure that. And it's still an impressive achievement what they did, but again, it was very ambitious. They may have maybe shot a little too high in terms of the idea.
Yeah, maybe.
It just kind of distracted me a tiny bit. It's a very minor critique.
I agree.
Okay.
Back to Carol's house. We have another count up clock. 8 days, 22 hours, 36 minutes, 28 seconds. So it's been almost 9 days now.
Yeah.
I just wrote, she's writing a note to the world because she's been canceled. But even though that's not exactly what's happened,
this is it. I saw so many people online, and I as you know, I try not to spend time online, especially immediately before an episode, because I don't want to be confused by all of the various speculation.
Mm-hmm.
But I saw so many people that were so sure from seeing that preview that this was going to be an apology video for what she did to Zosha. And so I was just really thrown that that's not what it was the first time I watched it. Right. So it kind of messed me up a little bit. This was an example where thinking that you know what's going to happen really can distract from actually just enjoying the episode. So I really need to avoid that in future.
And it's a nice example of Carol just being her Carol stubborn self, because she's literally, she said it on the roof, fuck you, good riddance, fuck you. Even though I think that her feelings on that change after a little while. At this point, she's like, fine, go, be gone. Yeah. I don't give a shit.
Yeah. She's fired up, I think, at this point.
I think so too. Yeah.
Yeah, because, she's making progress.
She is. And so she's making this plea to the other 12 to help her. And she's telling them that she knows how to do it, and that she wants them to she wants the hive to duplicate the tape and send it to all of them.
Yeah.
I also thought it was a really funny detail that she went behind her and she started putting away all her booze. I thought that was funny.
That was hilarious. It's so a very apt idea, actually, because surely we've all heard about did you see that TikTok video? Did you see how many bottles she had in the background? People do notice these things. So
yeah,
I think that was very, she knew what she was doing, even without her manager present. Again, RIP. She knew what she had to do to try to get herself together.
Yeah.
She was self-managing. She was very business-like, very confident. She was not the usual Carol that we know.
She did her makeup and her hair, and she dressed
did the whole thing
herself.
Yep. And she just presented herself very professionally, which, again, not very Carolish.
No.
And she had her script. She was ready to go.
Well, yeah, and just being mindful of how other people view her. She remembers getting shit-faced in Spain and falling on herself, and okay, maybe they don't need to think that I've been drinking, even though I have been. I'll just put all my stuff away. I don't know. It just shows some presence of mind.
I think it definitely does. She's obviously very aware that she needs to make a good impression, and she's trying to be very diplomatic. So good for her.
Right. So she dials 0, and we hear Patrick Fabian once again. Mm-hmm. And I love how every single time she calls, they have us sit through the whole message, because it's very cute. And I'm sure it's just improvising what Ray is doing on the other end of the phone with this. Okay. Yeah. Okay. You just need your say. You just, okay, whatever. She just kind of
it's
okay.
Great.
Okay.
Yeah. She does something different every time, which is
fun.
Fun.
Yeah. So she asks them to send it to all of them and subtitle them, in their language or in whatever language they speak, which is interesting that she trusts them to do that.
Yeah, she seems to think that she's quite certain that they're still going to do exactly what she asks, because up until this point, they always have.
Yeah, that's true.
But things do feel a little different with them having exited.
Yeah.
But she's just relying on what she has seen, which is that until now they do exactly what she asks every time. So she seems to at this point be pretty confident that they're going to do it.
And I do she says I know that you're not you may not do this. I can't make you do this, but I'm going to be in a biblically shitty mood, or she says something like that.
That's great. If you do this, it will please me. So I loved it. And I also loved during the whole video, actually, especially the first one, I think is has a lot of funny bits in it. But I think my favorite part is the very end, which she just with great enthusiasm says, "Good luck and Godspeed."
Yeah.
And
it's just so dramatic.
I feel like Carol has never said anything like those words before, but she just seems to think it's the right thing to say in the moment. And I just love how she just gives that her all. I love it. So that whole sequence was great. And the envelope that she puts the little card into, the memory card, it's why Caro purple the envelope is.
Yes.
So I'm guessing she would use this for business purposes in the before times. Like maybe it looks like a padded envelope, so maybe she would like mail out books in it or something like that, sign books or whatever. Who knows?
Yeah. That's really funny. And I love, again, great detail. Love it.
Yeah, exactly. Love that. Love those little details.
Marie from Breaking Bad would appreciate all the purple in this
She
show.
so would. Shout out to Marie. I love her.
Speaking of the details, I wanted to point out there's like some pictures on the wall in Carol's house of like, the Sandia Mountains, or it looks a lot like the same pictures that are on Kim and Jimmy's wall in Better Call Saul. I just had to point that out,
doesn't it? Yeah. All
I'm
good
just
stuff.
wondering. I don't think it's the same picture, but I'm wondering if it's maybe the same
it's
artist.
It's evocative of that, though. Yeah.
Yeah. Very, very New Mexico. Flair. Love it.
Yeah. Very New Mexico vibe. I always enjoy that, and because it's real, because they're actually in New Mexico. So I'm like, bring it on.
Bring it on.
And when Carol goes back in after the drone arrives, no booze for her tonight. She picks up the bottle, but she was just going to stick with her tiny and I presume very expensive little dinner, and no booze, because seems like there's a definite correlation between how hopeful she's feeling and how focused on her mission and how much she feels like she has that she can do, and whether she drinks or not.
This goes. Oh, did you notice the name of the whiskey is Ryder's Tears?
I was trying to see what the name of it was. Ryder's Tears.
Ryder's Tears, which I thought was perfect.
I love that.
But I think this goes to a point you made way back in like episode 2, when you said that like she turned away the champagne on the plane when she was kind of trying to get down to business. It does seem like Carol has a pattern where when she's actually working and when she's making progress, she doesn't drink.
Yeah.
And usually when she's hit a roadblock or she's gotten frustrated, that's when she'll turn to the booze. And I just think that's worth pointing out, because I think that's
interesting.
True. And that was a good observation way back earlier. I think
it's a good way of kind of tracking Carol's moods, actually, and where she's at and how she's feeling. Is she drinking, and what is she drinking? I'm not sure. I haven't quite determined if it makes a difference whether she's having vodka or whiskey. I guess that's whiskey that she's drinking.
Yeah.
Because most of the time it's vodka, but she was in a whiskey mood later on in this episode. So that might be distinctive. I don't know. When I go back and rewatch the whole series, I'll have a whole theory about why she drinks, what she drinks, when she drinks it.
Exactly. Particularly in keeping with the theme of this episode.
Yeah. A lot about beverages.
So I didn't realize till the second time that I watched this, but she actually, when she goes up to the bed, which is presumably the first time that she has attempted to sleep in the bed.
Yeah.
In what? This is 9 days. Yeah.
Yeah.
She actually had Helen's pillow downstairs.
Now, this is an interesting question about the pillow. I've discussed this at length with my husband, and I've had like some kind of like Tetris in my mind about whose pillow is where. And I've read a lot of folks saying, or at least my husband has, and he's read it to me, people saying that that's Helen's pillow. But I also have a theory that's not Helen's pillow. That was Carol's pillow that she had, but Carol sleeps on Helen's pillow when she gets to the bed. That's my theory.
Okay. I disagree with your theory, and this is why.
Okay.
I think that that's Helen's side of the bed. I think that it's clear from later, I think when she looks over there and she's looking at the side, and then also when she reaches way over to grab the sleep mask. Yeah. It's almost like, I feel like if it were her sleep mask, it would have been next to her. But
that's why I'm thinking if it were her. Like you said,
okay, well, if it were her side.
That's part of my theory, is that because she grabs the sleep mask from the other side, that makes me think she normally sleeps on that side, and she maybe has a thing about not wanting to touch Helen's things. So that's why she didn't move the pillow out of the bed, but she's okay with sleeping on the pillow in the bed.
Okay, I have one more piece of evidence to say that was Helen's pillows. When she sets it down, the way she kind of like strokes it, she kind of like rubs it a little bit.
Yeah,
and
she does.
To me, I feel like that was an indicator of like, okay, this I'm putting it back where it belongs, and that's my so I don't know. And I also I kind of like the idea that she took it downstairs.
I'm not totally convinced of my theory. Every time I watch it, I think something different, to be honest. But
I mean, you have
it's
some
kind of my take on
compelling
it.
evidence. I think
My take right now.
all things being equal, I'm going to go with
Yeah.
that was her pillow because I liked the idea
Okay.
that she brought that downstairs with her.
Yeah.
Um,
I think it's
because besides crawling into the bed of your dead significant other, I
yes.
think is hard enough.
Yes.
Without climbing in and attempting to sleep on their side.
Yeah, that would be a lot.
I
That would
feel
be a
like
lot.
that's a lot, and it's also just I just don't think that's what you would do, and I don't think that's what Carol would do.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think I'm leaning towards it.
I can definitely, I'm not like wedded to my theory. I can go either way.
Well, what do you guys
And
think? Let us know.
yeah, I'm curious to hear what the listeners think. I spent way too much time thinking and discussing this the last couple of days. I became mildly obsessed with the pillow question.
Well, I love that. I love that though. That's really because it is not, it's very subtle. It's just these little tiny clues, like the address book in the second episode, the little address book, like that no one would see if they weren't looking, and everybody's still wondering why isn't she contacting any other friends, any of her family members? I mean, we now know why she doesn't talk to her mom, but like,
yes, we do.
she did attempt to contact other people, and they don't make a big deal of it. It's just a teeny tiny little thing that you have to figure it out.
I think in that case, it might have been a little too teeny tiny. I think that they could have maybe focused a little bit more on the address book when Carol wakes up the next morning. That's just a minor thing. Yeah.
I agree with you, but all to say that this is just the way that this storytelling is working.
Yep.
It's very
you
subtle.
You got to pay attention, and a lot of it's visual. A lot of it's visual, and not certainly in this episode. It's not going to be in the dialogue, so you got to pay attention.
Mm-hmm. Shout out to Dave Porter for bringing back, I think, one of his only themes that he has, thematic musical, compositions, which is kind of a Carol and Helen theme, which just makes me sad and rips my heart out.
Every time. Yeah, I love it. It's beautiful. And listening, they had, of course, Dave Porter on the official podcast this week. And I found it interesting what he said, because they did ask him about the question of, do you have like a musical theme for Carol? And I loved his answer, which is that, well, she's different in every episode, so it would be hard to do that. And I thought that was quite insightful and quite interesting. But he does have this sort of love theme for Carol and Helen, which is beautiful.
Right. Because, that will never change.
That will never change. Love, in our hearts forever.
So Ray, just shout out for Ray too, because I feel like she does a really great job in this scene, as usual, with these sort of grief-stricken moments where she just kind of she can't even quite catch her breath. She kind of like leans over. She can't look anymore. I don't know, just all these little tiny things she does with her face, even in the dark, is amazing.
And it's always a good reminder to all of us how much she's going through, because her grief is at the center of her journey. And it's good to be reminded of that sometimes. And because she doesn't allow herself to experience her grief very, very often. And so I enjoy it when it happens. I love the angst. So it was great. And I think we saw the contents of her bedside table after she was interrupted by some interlopers.
Yeah.
But we can talk about it now, perhaps, so I don't forget to talk about it later.
Yeah, go ahead.
Which is, first of all, the sleep mask, which we mentioned already. And of course, there's an Agatha Christie book on the side table entitled "And Then There Were None." And I wrote down several theories about what that could be referring to, because it could be just as simple as all of the people have left Albuquerque, so they're just she's there alone, and then there were none. Or could it be something about a foreshadowing of the possible elimination of the human race, or a one-by-one elimination of the 13 survivors?
Right.
I don't know. I'm intrigued by it, though.
I was thinking the third thing mostly, but all of those apply. Like all of it is great.
It could do.
I haven't read. I love Agatha Christie. I haven't read that one, but
no, I don't think I have either, actually.
But I think I would be curious to see how many how many characters it starts out with? Is it
I think it
12
starts
or
out with
13?
12. It
Yeah,
starts
yeah,
out
yeah.
with 12, yeah.
And then
So,
there were none.
interesting, very interesting, and then there were none, so, I mean,
That's
and this
foreboding,
was
yeah.
this was a good case where the camera focused on it just long enough for us to pick up on it,
Yeah.
and that maybe would have been a better technique for the address book in, episode 2, I think it was.
I
Uh,
agree, only because so many people seem to be still asking that question, and generally, I'm like, "Come on, people, pay attention," but that was something that was hard to see, and I think it's something somebody could
I missed it
easily
myself. I
miss.
only saw it
Yeah,
when you pointed it out to me,
yeah,
so,
yeah, and I mean, I can't be it's hard to see. It was
yeah.
very hard to see. So,
Yeah,
anyway,
but in this case, we got a chance to see the book, so I gotta
yeah,
think it means something.
yeah. So, we hear some noises,
Yes.
bumping and thumping, and it's funny because when we were watching this, suddenly we were hearing ambulances. And I
Oh.
was like, "What is that?" And my daughter was like, "I think is that outside?" And I'm like, "No." I'm like, "No, it's on the show." I'm like, "She's something's going on. She's hearing ambulances." And she's like, "No, I think that's outside." It was outside. There were no ambulances or fire trucks in Carol's neighborhood, but there
No.
are wolves
There were wolves.
eating out of her garbage.
Yeah, as I guess wolves will do.
Yeah, I guess so. And we at first I was wondering if these were coyotes, but no, they're
Hmm.
wolves. They're wolves.
Yeah, I thought it was coyotes at first too, just because I mean, we have coyotes here in Edmonton, Alberta, so that's
Mhm.
kind of what I'm used to seeing in an urban
So do we.
environment. But yeah, certainly it was clear from listening to the official podcast, those are definitely wolves. And
Yeah.
that also explains Carol's reaction because coyotes aren't, to me at least, not super terrifying, but wolves are a lot scarier.
They'll usually run from you. Like
Yeah,
if
they
they
tend to
don't
run away.
they're
Yeah.
not really
But
gonna attack you, like, but a pack of wolves
a
would.
pack of
So,
wolves a little scarier. So I mean,
yeah.
I don't know why the wolves aren't just helping themselves to the sprouts that is no one is guarding it.
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess I'm assuming that they're everywhere, that they're all over the
I
city
suppose, yeah, this is
eating
just one of
everyone's
many.
garbage. Yeah, and I
Yeah,
mean, they
yeah,
happen to be in Carol's yard. They could have been in the next door neighbor's yard, but they
yeah,
happen to be in
true.
Carol's yard. So I just assume they are everywhere. They're at the Sprouts,
That's a
they're
good
wherever.
point. Yeah,
Yeah.
and because it's dark at night, and also because there's no one there now, so the animals are starting to take over the city.
And it's interesting because she calls up the number again and tells them
Mm,
to turn on all the lights,
yeah,
which I presume means all the lights in the whole city. And I kept thinking, Carol, come on, you just need them to turn on the lights in your neighborhood? Like,
yeah,
but maybe she is thinking the same way that okay, these animals are destroying everything, and if
yeah,
if I don't protect the city, who's gonna do it?
yeah.
So
Let's
I
just
don't
get
know.
rid of them completely.
Yeah, so I don't know if that was all that could also just be an expression of her fear
Yeah.
which is understandable, of being alone. Like imagine
Mhm.
you are the only person in the entire city. It's
Yeah.
abandoned. You would feel pretty damn terrified. Like
It would
it's
be
almost
very
like
creepy.
a child having a nightmare and being like, I just want all the lights on. I
Yeah.
just need them all on. And she's even sleeping with the lights on,
She's
obviously.
yeah, she brings her weapon of choice, her golf
Mhm.
club,
Yes.
back to bed with her,
I
which
literally wrote that, Jen. Golf club is her weapon of choice.
yeah, there you go. We're going back to episode 1 there.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's sleeping with all the lights on, and I mean, already it's probably weird for her just to be sleeping alone in the first place,
Mhm.
and she's alone in this one, and, yeah, she's obviously realizing she's feeling a little sort of vulnerable
Yeah,
to potential threats,
I agree.
which is
Yes.
sensible.
I wanted to bring this up too because we're in the bedroom and we were talking about Helen and that sort of thing.
Mm,
Every time I feel like the set directors, dressers, whatever they're called,
mm,
of this whole house are amazing with the details because I feel like every time we see
mm.
something that indicates like the life they had, it
Yeah.
hurts me. Like when she's in the
Oh.
garage and you see the bikes on the wall and you see like
Mm.
all the things and then you see there's a grill outside, there's a barbecue out there. And then later we see a
Yeah.
hot tub. Like you're just seeing like not only I'm like, "Oh, you guys are living great. Well done you." But I'm also thinking, "Oh my god, these are like things that like they did together."
Yeah.
It just like it
Just
hurts me every
yeah.
time I see these little
It just
details.
yeah, an insight into their life together, and
Yeah.
yeah, that'd be, like, so painful for Carol too, just looking at all these reminders all around her
Yeah.
all the time.
Oof. Well, the next day, she cleans up the trash and then takes it out and realizes, okay, shit, okay, we don't really think about the trash beyond taking it to our curb.
Yeah.
Where somebody has to come and pick it up, and there's
Yeah.
nobody here to do that.
Exactly.
And I loved this part particularly with the Patrick Fabian message, because this is this reminded me of sometimes when I do with my mom. Sorry, Mom. I know she's never going to listen to this, so it's no big deal. But when she's listening to it and she kind of sets the phone down and just lets it go off, and she's just like, doing her business. Okay, yeah, you're doing, and then picks it up when she's done with all of the things that she's doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely guilty of that. But I think she says, I need someone to pick up my trash, hangs it up. I actually timed it in my head. The exact amount of time passes for him to have gotten this message, record the new one, and then send it. It was like, and so then the phone rings, and I feel like, again, shout out to Ray, the way she answers the phone is slightly unlike Carol. It's kind of like, hello. It's kind of upbeat and almost hopeful. Like,
I think she's maybe hoping it's going to be one of the 12 calling her, which was what she asked them to do at the end of her video.
Oh, you're right. That could be it. But I was thinking she was happy to hear from anyone. I thought
she probably was.
It could have been one of the Hive calling to say, sure, Carol, we'll get that taken care of for you. And even that, I think, would have been a comfort to her in this moment.
I think it probably would have been. I think she's just missing anybody at that point. I think she is kind of hopeful that she might hear from the 12.
Yeah.
But for sure, I think she's definitely starting to feel that sense of loneliness and just craving human contact, which again, she's not getting at it. She just gets the recording, which clearly they did record immediately after getting her request.
It just feels so passive aggressive. Like, I'm not
even. They could have just called her.
Yeah, you could have just called and said that, but no, it had to be a recording.
Yeah, no, we're going to take the time to record it and then send you the recording. Like, come on, guys, how petty can you get here?
In a way, and this just occurred to me, it reminds me of voice message test, like texting with voice messages.
Yeah, like a voice text. Yeah, it's a bit like that.
I love to do that because
you do indeed.
I'm verbose, and I don't got time for all the fucking typing, and I don't like talking to people on the phone, and so this is a nice happy medium. But it does seem kind of like that. Like, I'm not going to call you. I'm just going to send you a voice note. Like, that's really funny.
It is a bit like that, but it's a handy way to send a text, actually. I don't mind it personally. I think it's kind of handy.
And when I do it, it's not in a passive aggressive Howard Hamlin way.
No,
so.
I mean, I'm always entertained when you send me one of your audio texts. It's just, I just have to find the right place to listen to it, because it's not the kind of thing I can generally listen to at my desk.
Well, usually there's some chaos happening behind me. I don't know why that always is happening. But
there's always something entertaining when you're halfway through an audio message to me and you suddenly say, no, put that down, or something like that.
Yeah.
Or in one memorable incident recently when you said, I have to stop. There's a fucking parade.
I was literally voice messaging you from Disneyland, which I wouldn't have done, but we were on a little bit of a deadline.
We were,
and there literally was, like, I'm talking to Jen, and suddenly it's like, oh, welcome everyone, and I'm like, fuck.
It was just, I felt like you were channeling your inner Carol in that moment, and I did enjoy it a lot.
I always channel my inner Carol, and I'm proud of it.
Absolutely, nothing to be ashamed of there.
It was quite a diversion, but it does make me think of voice notes. I had to bring that up.
Yeah, okay. And then I kind of got off on it a bit, but
it's okay.
Just a little window into Annie and Jen there.
Oh my God.
Their wacky adventures.
Oh Lord. All right. Well, this leads into the scene that we saw in one of the early teasers with the drone.
Yeah, we finally see it in context.
Yeah, the Patrick voice tells Carol that it can be, as long as it's less than 17 pounds, and they place the bag in bags, and they have to be 2 feet apart.
Yes.
Which, okay, she's like, all right. But I like how she's kind of half-heartedly like lifting it. Like, I guess.
It could be less than 17 pounds.
Close enough. I'm not going to go way. Yeah. And she also, like, she has to know they're sending a drone. Like, so she knows that has to be what's happening. And so she's just waiting. And I like how she's just kind of waiting, because you kind of just want to watch the show, right?
Yeah,
Like,
it's something to do at that point. What else has she got to do?
I got to tell you, Jen, I don't know if you have ever witnessed a drone bringing you something in real time.
I have
It
not.
is
Have
quite
you?
I have.
Oh, you're living the American dream right there.
It wasn't because of anything that like I did. And I remember this was when the X-Files season 11 thing was starting, and you could like, I don't remember how I won it, but it was like a certain amount of people. If you wrote in quickly enough, or you tweeted something, whatever, you got like a X-Files box with like a T-shirt, and I was like, oh, that's cool. And then they delivered it by drone, Jen, and this was back in 2018 which feels like eons ago.
Well, it was quite a while ago.
Drones weren't like super common. And so I remember I had it, it made me type in like, where are you currently? Type in the address of where you are. And I'm like, why? Like, I was weirded out by it. And so they're like, go outside. And I went outside, and I just remember hearing the, and I was like, what is happening? And I'm literally at my office, and this drone comes, and it's like pulls this little box down, this little X-Files box, and I know everybody around me is going like, what the hell is going on? And I was just delighted. I was like, look at this magic box from the sky, and I still have the box. It was really
that is amazing. Cool. That would be a very exciting event, I have to say. I can only dream to experience it one day.
You know, on a random work day, like that was definitely a memorable moment.
That's a day to remember right there.
But anyway, we digress again. You're getting lots of windows into our lives today, guys.
What we're saying is a drone can be entertaining to experience.
Yes, which I think is why Carol is standing there and wanting to see if it can actually lift the trash. I think she's maybe not sure, but
she's kind of curious.
Kind of gets the trash up, and it's another one of those really funny moments that takes far too long, but it gets funnier the longer it takes.
It so does.
Chef's kiss. Love those bits.
Love it.
And this was all real, apparently. Like none of this was CG. Like they really had the drone come in, pick up the thing, and then it actually hits the telephone pole and wraps itself around.
And actually really did wrap itself around and smash itself accordingly. The whole sequence is perfectly done. I mean, it's amazing to me that was all they just did that by skillful drone flying, and just the way that it wraps around, just the nature of how it wraps around the sort of light pole it just keeps rapidly getting worse because of course the sort of the radius that it has keeps getting smaller and smaller. Exactly. And so it just keeps getting faster and faster, that smashes against the pole. That's already hilarious. And then of course, just the absolute perfect pause before the whole garbage bag opens again. It just everything about that scene is comic perfection to me.
Oh yeah, wonderful.
And what's even better is that to me in the episode, when I'm watching it the first time, it's like that was a very funny, humorous aside from the plot. Mm-hmm. But of course, that turns out to be the instigator of the rest of the plot of the whole episode. It's because of the garbage that it leads to everything else. And so while it seemed like just a funny aside, it winds up being very important. And I kind of love that.
Well, I'm going to ruin your funny aside by giving lots of meaning to this moment.
Please do. Let's hear it.
I like the idea that Carol's carelessness has once again harmed. Like she killed the drone. Okay, it is just a drone. But like, I felt kind of bad for the drone. I'm like, oh, the poor drone. It's going.
It was a bit sad. Yeah.
Even though it's just a drone, it was just, you just almost killed Zosha. And now you're killing our drones. Like, this is not doing her any favors with the hive.
Probably isn't. It's a very fair point right there. And it does show a certain amount of negligence on her part.
Yes. So I think that, like, even though it's a drone, it's like one more piece of the hive that she is attempting to murder. So I had to bring it.
That's just through her negligence that she doesn't necessarily want to hurt them, but she just winds up doing it because she's not being careful enough.
Yeah.
Excellent point.
So Carol, bless her, still does want to get rid of the trash, right? She doesn't want to be a litter bug.
She does. She doesn't want to be a litter bug, and she doesn't want to track those wolves anymore.
Right, that's true. So she, loads up her trash and she goes to what looks like a park or playground or something to find a
Mm.
public trash can.
Yeah.
And, while trying to fit the trash in, she has to take the lid open and she looks down in there and she sees these little milk cartons. And I don't
Hmm.
think she really thinks anything of it until she notices it, I think, a second time, right?
Yeah, I think she thinks I think in the moment she thinks it's a little bit strange, but then she kind
Mhm.
of like walks away, but then I get the impression that she's thinking, that was weird though, wasn't it? And so she
Yeah.
chooses to look in another garbage can just out of curiosity, and
Yeah.
that sort of piques her curiosity even more, and then she goes right for the dumpster.
Right to the cleanest dumpster that I've ever seen in my
Thank
life.
goodness. Thank goodness.
Yeah, thank goodness because she, takes a tumble into it just like Jimmy McGill, who's always falling into dumpsters.
What is up with that? But thank goodness, yes, for Ray, it looked more like a ball pit than a
Yeah, yeah.
dumpster. So that made it a little bit better.
I wanna know if she did that fall at all, or if I'm sure that was her scream, which was very funny.
Yeah, it was
Um,
great. I think beautiful sound editing too, because I'm guessing that was her stunt double who took the fall. But they made it sound so much like that's actually someone screaming inside a
yeah,
dumpster. So
yeah,
shout out to the sound editors on that.
very well done. I don't know if you noticed this, but the bottom of her sneakers, I guess the brand is Vince, which
I
I
did
think
not notice
was very
that.
cute. Yes.
All right,
You
cute. I
can
will
kinda
watch for
see
that.
them as she's climbing up into the dumpster, you can see it. I
All
thought that was
right,
cute.
cute.
Um,
Great
and so
sneakers.
she, like a ball pit, as you've pointed out,
Yeah.
falls into the beautifully clean dumpster. Again, does this clean
Hmm.
dumpster have something to do with the hive mind? Like, did they clean the dumpsters? Because I wouldn't put it past them.
Yeah, I wouldn't put that past them. I feel like that's the kind of thing that they might have done. I mean, they've got the entire population at their disposal. They might as well use them for something, and
And they
cleaning
don't
dumpsters could be one of them.
you don't wanna deal with foul smelling dumpsters because they make you make faces like this. And
Yeah,
no one wants to make faces like that when they're happy all the time,
exactly.
right?
Everything is supposed to be beautiful and perfect and peaceful. So clean dumpster seems like that's part of that vibe.
Yeah, and there's literally no other trash in there but the cartons.
Justin, I
Um,
think that's the weird part. It's not that there's so many cartons, it's just that that's only cartons.
yeah. Oh, that's all they need to drink. That's all they have. And I love her line, "You motherfuckers sure love your milk." Like,
Yeah.
it's just
It was just nice to hear Carol's voice again because we
yeah,
hear it so little in this episode.
it's
So
true. It's true.
I was so delighted to hear her say something.
So, and I love this because we're leading into one of the what I like to call Mulder and Scully sections of this episode,
Yeah,
the
very much so.
investigative sequences.
Yeah, Detective Carol.
I love Detective Carol, organized Carol, but yes, I like
Yeah.
Detective Carol. I like this. She
Yeah.
notices that it's Duke City Dairy on the
Mhm.
thing, and I think literally she's probably thinking, "Well, I don't have shit else to do, so let's go check this out." Right?
Let's
It's
see
like,
what we can see if there's any clues about what's so interesting about this milk.
yeah. So she's looking through the dairy, and
Mm.
she notices too, like on the what is that little thing
The little
called?
machine thing?
But there's a name for it, it's gonna bother
Is
me
there?
forever. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
that actually pumps out the not refiner or what, but it's something like that. I can't think of what it's
I
called.
have no idea, but all right.
But what should be milk is this,
Yes.
like, brown stuff or orangey
She
looking stuff.
notices this straw-colored material,
Right.
a little drop of it, which notably she touches,
Mhm.
smells, but thank God does not taste.
If it were Mulder, he definitely would have tasted
We
it.
know that Mulder would have tasted it even before he smelled it, probably.
And then we would have had to say, "Oh, Mulder, you've eaten people."
Yeah,
Oh, no.
would have been bad.
And you know what? Okay, since we kind of know that's where this is headed, we can talk about it. That, like, I'm really glad they don't have her taste it because I was ready for her to do that.
Yeah.
But like again, like we don't know how if she has, inadvertently drunk this at some point since this whole event happened. We have no
Who
idea. I don't know. It
knows?
looks an awful lot like whiskey there, Carol. So I don't know, but she's still looking around, and then I thought this was a really interesting scene when she goes into the little room with all the bags of the white powder.
Yeah, because she hears the ravens or crows, whatever they are.
They're crows, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
And they're because crows are are carrion birds, right? Like they're
They are.
scavengers. They
They
aren't
are
going to go after
scavengers.
meat. Like they're going to go.
They will eat dead things.
This is, you want another window into my life, Jen?
All right, let's hear it.
Literally, I want to say the day this episode aired, that morning,
Yep.
my son and I were walking the dogs and we go, we walk around the block. I swear to God, Jen, he talked to me about crow facts the entire walk. And I was like, why? Where are you learning all about crows? He loves like science and learning and all this. But he was just going on and on and on about crows. And I'm like,
oh my gosh.
Because like they're in my neighborhood a lot. And so he just happened to start. But I swear to God, he had a whole block's worth of crow facts to tell me.
Oh my God.
I just thought that was so ironic that like then we watched this episode. And
very appropriate,
he's too
I would
little
say.
for this episode. But I watched it and I was like, oh my God, he was just telling me all these crow facts today.
You were so informed and ready to go when they showed up in all things in Bluribus.
I was ready.
You were ready for those crows. And so was Carol.
This is one of those clues, though, that makes me think, okay, there is something in this that crows are going to be drawn to, which means that it is leaning.
It's another clue. It's another clue.
Something human related.
Yeah. But again, like in the moment, for me, when I'm watching this episode,
I'm not thinking that at all. No,
I'm not thinking it's weird at all. I just think, this is like a plot device to sort of draw Carol's attention to
the powder
sacks. Yeah. That's the only purpose the birds have. That's enough. But then you think back on it again later and it's like, it was like crows and they like to eat the dead things and oh my God. Yeah.
Yep. But again, just brilliant because it's not telegraphing anything really.
At all. Just, it seems to make perfect sense within the episode for its own purpose.
Exactly. So she, again, getting organized. She's getting her little pH strips and she's testing.
Yeah, she's using all the science she's got, which is not a lot, but it's something.
It's basically just this powder and the water. And that's all. And it makes the stuff. It makes the stuff. She's making another video again, and we don't have another count up clock, so I don't know how much time has actually passed since she sent those videos, but she does seem quite distressed that she hasn't heard back from anyone.
She does, so I get the feeling it's a little bit of time. I think she probably expected to hear back from them right away.
Right away. Yeah, that's true. I mean, in the world of the hive, like information is happening instantaneously, so I guess
pretty much.
Even a half a day seems like an eternity to her, so that does make sense.
And then she has nothing to do but wait.
Exactly. But I did like this little bit where she's doing her little video. She's holding up the little milk. She's trying to like carry them all. It's very cute. And I loved this line when she said, "These are the little milk cartons that they serve to children in elementary schools." And she goes, "Back when we had elementary schools and children."
So perfect. Again, the timing, the perfect timing of Ray Seahorn was so perfect on that line. Good. I loved it.
Really good. And it does, again, it makes you think like, you're right. It's not like the children are gone. They're there, but they're kind of gone.
But they're not children anymore. They don't act like children. They're working in hospitals.
Exactly. And then it made me think too about what we were talking about, was it last time, about like, okay, what's happening to babies? Like, where are all the toddlers? What's, Carol saw something horrifying in that car seat. We assume it's like a baby seizing like everyone else, but we didn't see it.
Yeah.
So we don't know really if we know that there are children. Children exist. We see them, but we haven't seen any tiny children or babies. We haven't seen any of those yet. So who knows?
No, we haven't.
Interesting though. I liked that line and it made me think.
It was a great line.
While she's telling everyone what is happening, what she has found, she's describing, the scientific discoveries that she's made.
Yes.
She brings up the fact that everyone left her. And at this point, she takes pause and she's like, whatever, who cares?
Yeah, which is, whatever. And when they've abandoned me completely, which is pretty sort of like dramatic language.
Yeah.
And I think she's feeling it. She's feeling it at that point.
Yeah, it did feel a little Lady Doth protest too much.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. With the whole, which is, whatever. It's like, whatever. Sure, honey. Yeah. No one, sure, Jen, we're not believing that you don't care.
There was something, maybe it was in the other video, but I wanted to bring it up when she said like, it was the other video, when she's like, it started everybody crying which I know upset at least one of you.
Yeah.
It's just such a funny little,
so great. It's just another like perfect line. Just
so
both
good.
of those videos to me were fantastic.
I love Carol's videos. I just want to like watch.
Yeah.
I hope that in between seasons we get like Carol videos, because that would be such
I
funny
would watch
content.
those all
Like,
day, every day.
yeah.
All day, every day. Any kind of like, maybe she just films herself or something to do
Yeah,
and just talking or just washing dishes. I'd watch that all day. I'd watch it on a 3-hour loop.
I would. I definitely would. I don't know what that says about us, Jen, but you know what?
I don't know. Yeah, it just says that we're very, very big fans of Carol Sturka and
Yes.
are prepared to send her a crocheted hat if necessary.
We will.
Yeah.
I do like too at the end of this how she kind of starts to lose her patience. Like, are you even getting these? Because how the fuck would I know? And then she, I think, realizes like, I'm being too Carol again. I'm being too Carol, and they're not going to like it, and they're not going to like me.
This. Yeah.
And then deletes it and redoes it. And again, this spoke to me very much as, okay, women need to smile more. They need to be more likable. Like it really, it really hit me.
Interesting. Yeah. Great point. Yeah. Because you wonder how, going back briefly to episode 2 Pirate Lady and how poorly Carol was received as an angry woman, you do kind of wonder if she had acted the same and she was a man, would she have been received differently by the other survivors she met? Just
would
a
she have been
little
taken more
aside.
seriously?
Yeah. Yeah. Because we all know in society today, an angry woman is perceived differently than an angry man.
Yeah, agreed.
Okay.
Oh, it's unfortunate.
It is.
Right. Okay, let's move on. Next scene. Okay, so this is another nighttime scene where we now hear the wolves. They are coming into the yard. Like they are fully jumping over the fence.
And in my tracking of Carol's drinking, I see she's bringing out the whiskey, and this is when she brings the whiskey out. Because I think because she's starting to lose hope, she's obviously frustrated at the end of that video.
Yeah.
So we see that things are not as good for her. But she doesn't get much of a chance to drink it because, indeed, the return of the wolves.
Yes. This is another thing that Eric, my husband, caught before me. Like he was like, oh, they're going to go after Helen. They're going after Helen. And I mean, he thought it right away. I'm like, damn, you're right on top of this.
He really called that.
But yeah, he called it instantly. And then as soon as she goes to the window, I'm like, oh God. Yeah. Because oh no, like it's heartbreaking. It's just like, could one more fucking thing go wrong in my life?
Honestly, it's just so awful.
It's like adding insult to injury at this point.
Truly, just terrible. I was just like, oh, the music is so great in that sequence. It just really ratchets up the horror of it. And oh man, I felt it.
Well, and then she once again grabs her weapon of choice, the golf club. Did you have anything else in your house, Carol, that's not a golf club?
I think the golf club is she's just very comfortable swinging a golf club, I suspect. It's probably not a bad weapon.
I mean, we know from teasers that we're going to get to see her play golf, but I would really, really like to see her hit someone with the golf club. I feel like this is like you brought up the Chekhov's grenade, right? Chekhov's grenade in episode 3. This is like the Chekhov's golf club. I want to see that golf club hit something. Like
she needs to hit something with it by the time the show is over. I agree.
I do like how fiercely protective that she is of Helen, that she just runs out, not even really thinking about herself until this wolf, she suddenly is like, okay, this isn't going to work. And then turns around.
I'm in a little too deep here.
Yeah. And I was thinking like, fuck, I'm like, I don't think she's the kind of person who would keep a gun in the house. Does not strike me as that kind of person.
Yeah.
But thinks quickly and runs out to the police car where she knows there's going to be a gun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can't get it out, of course. This is like the episode, they should just call this episode Murphy's Law, because everything that could go wrong to Carol is going wrong.
Yeah, it really is. Everything is just going from bad to worse in this moment.
But this is one that I was thinking like, okay, yeah, get in the car. I was hoping she would do this. Get in the car, turn on those and just ram it, because that's what I would do. It's the only thing
that part didn't quite occur to me for some reason. I saw her putting on the lights and sirens and I'm like, where's she going? What's the plan here? But of course, yes, great idea.
I liked there was a little bit of a misdirect because she's driving away from the house, but I assume she has to kind of go all the way around to come in the back.
Yeah, exactly. She has to be able to come at it from the right angle.
Yeah. So, but yeah, this was a great moment, and I love how like just het up she is. She's just like, she is
Yeah.
like shaking and she's breathing hard. And it's just like, thank God. Okay. Hopefully they
Yeah,
didn't
it's
get
just
anything.
you can tell she's just pumping full of adrenaline at that moment.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Now, I loved this next sequence so much, Jen. It was such a nice little reprieve from everything that we've seen so far, with her going to get the pavers and laying them out on top of Helen's grave to protect this from ever happening again.
Yeah.
And just love how you see the pavers getting wider and wider and wider and wider. You think she's going to stop, but it's like, no, she's like,
She
we're
just
making
keeps
this
going.
as big
Yeah.
as possible. I don't even want to risk it.
Mhm.
And I have to give a shout out, this piece of music. I
Mm.
loved it. Playing during this scene is called A Calf Born in Winter by
Mm.
Krungabin. Don't know if I said that right, but I
Yeah.
downloaded it and listened to it because I loved it.
It's a very cool tune.
I did want to say too, Jen, how we are attempting to get Harrison Ford on every episode of this, mention on every episode of this podcast, but we haven't quite succeeded. But I have one for today's episode.
Yeah, I mean, he fits in nicely here.
There's a shot, and this stuck out to me as we were watching. There's a beautiful shot of Carol kind of like resting or closing the door. It's sunset. It's silhouette. It's far away. And it really, really made me think of Raiders of the Lost Ark, where Indiana Jones is digging for the Ark. And I was thinking that I was like all smart and that I had picked this up and that, oh my God. No, they mentioned it on the podcast. This was totally intentional.
Yeah, it was very much intentional. That's very much an homage, I think.
But I love that they did a Harrison Ford, Indiana Jones, Raiders of the Lost Ark homage. Like, that made me very happy. So shout out Gordon Smith, a fellow Indiana Jones fan.
Absolutely. Yeah. And a beautiful shot that even if you didn't know that, which I didn't when I was watching it, it still was a beautiful shot and worked beautifully in the episode.
Yeah, wonderful.
At the end of that sequence, it's quite a long sequence, right? With putting all of the, what do they call, paving stones into place?
Yeah, like pavers, I guess.
Pavers, okay, which are really heavy. Actually, I bought one once. Only one, because I wanted an extra little step to get into the back door of my house. Well, I wanted it for my elderly dog, actually. And that seemed like that would suit the bill. And it was way heavier than I was expecting it to be. So I can only imagine how heavy it would be to carry all of those. So clearly Carol was putting a lot. She was putting a lot into that. I feel like she was kind of like, almost like it was a way to kind of direct her grief at that moment, where it's like the only thing she can do for Helen now.
Yeah.
And she's probably got so many emotions about everything that's happened. The grief that she's going through. She's probably got some guilt about the fact that Helen died and lots of rage about the whole thing. And I feel like she's channeling all those feelings into this physical work.
Yeah. And it is very physical, very physical.
Very physical. And obviously it takes a long time.
And I love how they show the car. They're so heavy in the car that the car is making these sparks, which again, it's just a very lovely visual way to show you just how fucking heavy these things are.
Truly. And
even though Ray is selling it, but
it definitely conveys it. And yet she's fit in literally as many as she possibly can into that trunk. And putting her poor police car in danger.
Yeah.
But it's a beautifully shot scene. For me at the time, the first time I watched it, it felt a little long. Like I felt like it could have been a little bit shorter. I get that they want to kind of convey the breadth of the effort by making it as long as it was, but there were a couple of moments for me during this episode where I thought, okay, this could be a little bit shorter, maybe. I feel like, we've got the point. You don't necessarily have to keep it going. Like, I think I timed it at like 2 minutes and 13 seconds, something like that, the whole shebang of the pavers, which just to me felt a bit long, but I get that not everyone is going to see it that way.
Yeah, no, I didn't see this scene that way. I loved it. I thought this scene was fine. There were a couple times when she was like rooting around in the milk factory or in the doing her investigation where I felt that like it could have been tightened up a little bit, but I did not feel that here because I think here there was so much emotion going on that I was just kind of like letting myself feel it, and I thought it was really effective. So I didn't
I
have a
think
problem with it here.
maybe I would have preferred it if they'd had a few more close-ups of Carol's face during it, but it was quite a long shot for most of it. But again, I'm sure some people loved it. It all depends on whether you're finding it an enjoyable scene to watch. Because there were some other scenes in this episode that other people might have found long that I thought was great, and I wouldn't have wanted it any shorter. So it's a your miles may vary kind of situation.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, and I just wanted to, if I could jump into something from the scene before the whole paving stone event, when she wakes up in the police car and immediately
Oh,
notices how she could have gotten is it a shotgun? How she could have gotten
yeah.
the shotgun out. There's like that button. She sees that right away. And also at the same time sees right away how she can take her
Her
handcuffs off.
handcuff off.
She
Yep, you're
sees
right.
the handcuff key. And I just found it it's a very relatable moment for one thing, because like when you want something and you're like super stressed, that you're least likely to be able to figure it out.
Yeah.
And I thought it was just an interesting little moment. And I almost wondered, could it be a tiny bit of foreshadowing about the idea of the harder we try to find a solution, the less likely we are to find it?
Mm-hmm.
And I just wonder if that's going to wind up being a theme in the future. Just a little something I wanted to point out.
I thought the exact same thing, and I think you're right. I think it
All
is.
right.
I think it is sort of going to be thematically important. I agree.
All right. Excellent. So, sorry, back to the paving. And after the paving scene, we have the painting scene, which
Yes.
I absolutely loved.
Yeah. I mean, I still see this as part of the same scene, but she's painting one of the pavers as like the little orchids, which obviously had meaning to Helen because the orchid was on the grave at the start.
Yeah. Must have been like her favorite flower or something.
Yeah. And it just says Helen. That's all it said.
It kind of, yeah.
There was nothing formal about it.
So heartbreaking.
Loving and perfect. And I wonder if Ray herself painted that. I want to say I'm 99% sure
she's a bit of
she
an
did.
artist, isn't she?
Oh, she is. Yes.
Yeah. That's beautiful. Yeah. I mean, it's beautiful
But it was
work.
very pretty. Yeah. So I'm curious about that.
I mean, she definitely, the way she carries the paintbrush, you can tell she knows what she's doing.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just, oh God, I just loved that. And of course, the look on Ray's face after she's placed the stone.
Oh, yeah.
And she goes through 12 million emotions.
Yep.
With no, of course, no dialogue and not any music either, which I found interesting because it's a very heartfelt moment. And a lot of the times we'd have a fairly heartfelt score under that. So I just found it really interesting that we had this moment of seeing her face and the heartbreak and the sort of at the same time like this sense of resolution she has to go on, and just silence, and absolutely gorgeous. I loved it.
Well, yeah, I feel like I liked the silence better because it was the tail end of the paver scene that had that beautiful piece of music.
Yeah.
And then the music stopped and then it was that. And so it was a good place to put silence and not have the music continue. I don't think it would have worked if the music had continued there. I agree with you.
I don't think it would have. It was a nice way. I just really think that the choices they make about what music to use when and when to use no music at times when I think it might have been an obvious choice to put some music in, I find really interesting. And it's not the kind of thing I noticed at the time on first watch, but when I noticed it on the second watch, I think, oh yeah, it helps things to stand out sometimes. I mean, Ray can do so much on screen that we don't need a lot to tell us how to feel.
Exactly.
And she can do it all with her face, and that's all we need. And that's enough to fill the scene.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So after she's done here, she goes back into the house, and I like how she kind of picks up her drink, but like sits down onto the couch and to the point where she makes the bag fall, which
it's kind of like, could this day get any worse?
Yeah. Once again, it's funny though, because this isn't just, it's a funny little beat, but it's also, again, like the crows, it's a story point. Like it's going to get the bag into a position where she's going to see the barcode on the side.
Yeah.
And once again, I love how resourceful she's being. She's just like, well, I don't have shit else to do. So let's take this to the store, the Sprouts that I have full access to, and see what happens.
Why not?
And again, she hits a little dead end here. It doesn't bring up anything. It brings up like an error message. But I, again, love her determination. Like, kind of like, well, I'm already fucking here. I'm going to go see if I can find a bag that matches it.
Yeah,
And
just going to have a look up and down the aisles.
And she does. She does find a bag.
Does, which is, to me, a little bit of a reach, perhaps, but I am willing to go with it.
I mean, at first I wasn't quite sure what was even happening with the bag, but then when I realized what was happening, I was like, okay, I can see it, because I mean, there can only be so many bag manufacturers in the area, right?
That's true. That's true. Yep, fair enough.
So I don't. There's a thing. It's a reach in that I don't know if I would have thought of that.
Yeah,
but I don't necessarily think it's a reach in credibility that like someone could have thought of that and found this.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
but
it
seemed
certainly was convenient. I'll put it that way.
Yeah. So she figured
but
out
it's fine.
that. Yeah, she figures out. Is it Jen? I feel like you've been a little critical of this episode.
I mean,
I feel like you have been.
I have. I've had a couple of little critiques.
Okay,
just
all right.
Just a couple of critiques.
It's okay. Just you know, you keep going. It's fine. It's fine. It's okay. It doesn't have to be fine.
Fine. Yeah. No, just I don't know. There was when we're on X-Files Diaries, I think that we tend to find various things that we critique in each episode of the X-Files, just because of course we love the X-Files, but there's always, something to critique. And we haven't had much of an opportunity to do that, I think, with Pluribus. And I'm not saying I've gone out of my way to do it in this episode, but I kind of felt like Critical Jen was starting to come to the fore a little bit at times during this episode. I think because it is a very quiet episode and fairly sedately paced. And so I was doing more thinking maybe during the episode than I normally would. And so that's when I started maybe to kind of, let's just say, overthink things slightly at times and find things that would stand out to me that I might not have noticed otherwise. But I am a bit of a nitpicker by nature of many things.
No, I am too. But it's just funny because you're right. I feel like this is the first episode where Critical Jen has come out, but I've missed her. I haven't seen her in several weeks. So
I mean, she's been very, very taken with Pluribus up until this point. Just completely besotted, I will say.
Pull up a chair and stick around. It's fine with me.
Yeah, but this episode, I just felt like she had a chance to kind of notice things that I wouldn't normally notice, because I wasn't as gripped in the course of watching this episode the first time as I was on subsequent rewatches. I think it's because maybe I spent a lot of the first time I watched it I was thinking about what wasn't there instead of what was, in the sense of I really missed Zosha. I can't believe how attached I've become to her. I might be in love with her. I'm not sure. Why she got to be so goddamn fuckable? I mean, honestly. And I think I just really find the sort of hive mind people so fascinating to watch in terms of how they interact and how Carol interacts with them. And so I think I missed them during this episode. And I also missed hearing Carol talk, because I love the way she speaks and I love hearing her express herself. And so there were certain elements that I've been really enjoying about the show up until this point that weren't as present in this episode. And the first time I watched it, I was kind of like, I miss Zosha. But, having watched it and gotten over that, I enjoyed it much more on subsequent rewatches.
All right. Well, that's good. So
we gotten that off my chest now.
Okay. I'm glad. Carol figures out that the bag was manufactured at a place called Agrijet in, I guess locally. So she goes over there.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, where else would it be?
I mean, I guess the bags could come. I mean, dog food can come from China for that matter, but I'm willing to certainly accept that you might have it from locally. What was it called? Something like Western something dog food. And I love the fact that it was like a big pug on the
it was like
on the bag.
A made up dog food brand. Yeah. I don't think that it reminds me of like how dog food brands maybe don't want to be associated with people parts, I guess. I don't know. It reminds me of how they could not find a tequila brand to agree to be in Breaking Bad, where it's spoiler alert, poisoning all those people. So they had to make up, which then was a good thing because Zafiro Añejo becomes iconic. But it's
It
just that
does.
made me think of that. I'm like, oh yeah, there's probably not a dog food brand out there that wants to be associated with being manufactured by the same place that
Makes total sense.
manufactures
Makes
people
total
parts.
sense. Yeah, could you
Anyway,
imagine? That's not the product placement you would want.
no.
Yes. So anyway, off she goes to the factory.
This was another moment where I very much felt Vince was going back to Mulder and Scully roots because of the
Very much the
flashlight. Were you thinking that?
flashlight,
Yeah.
baby. Yeah. So it definitely had an X-Files feel to it.
Rooting around in the dark with the flashlight, sneaking
Yeah.
in. I love
Sneaking
it.
around. Yeah.
Detective Carol.
Detective Carol at the fore, and also in this one, again, interestingly enough, when she's walking around this, I guess it's a warehouse, no music, which again, interesting choice, because the obvious choice would be slightly sinister, suspenseful music. So it's a really interesting choice, and I think it makes sense.
Well, it does make sense because I feel like having sinister music would telegraph too much what we're going to find.
Exactly, because that way we don't know that she's going to find anything.
Yeah,
she might find nothing and leave.
Nothing at all, or something that's not sinister. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I love the fact that there was nothing telling us how to feel.
Yes.
There's nothing to tell us how to feel until the very last second. With that gasp. And so I loved the way that it made it more shocking and surprising.
Right. Well, let's talk about that gasp. Okay.
Let's.
Because she's walking around. We see that she sees the produce and she turns and she's looking at something. Like she definitely is seeing something. And then she kind of makes a face that's kind of like, oh, that's weird. And then after a few seconds go by, it's like she's doing the calculus. Yeah. And then comes to a realization. It's not like she didn't know. My opinion, and you tell me what yours is. I feel like it's not that she doesn't know what she's looking at. I think she knows what she's looking at, i.e. a body, for example.
Okay. Yep.
But like I could see her seeing a body or a foot or a leg or something and thinking, wait, what? Wait, are they storing the dead bodies in here? Why are they like at first that's kind of like she knows there are dead bodies. So it's not like shocking to see the dead body, but I think it's shocking to then put it together with where she is seeing the dead body. And then that's how that leads to the, oh fuck, why are they here in this place? So that's kind of my interpretation of that. You go ahead and tell me.
I really like yours actually. The idea that, because I think there's like sort of 3 stages to her reaction. One is, like you say, she's kind of puzzled at first. And then there's this kind of like fear sort of moment, which is like almost like numb shock. And then that moment of sort of gasp of horror and realization at the end. And it's sort of that middle bit where she just kind of looks just totally consumed by fear, I think. And like you say, doing the calculus maybe. I was kind of unsure how to interpret it. I like your interpretation that she recognizes that it's a body right away, but just doesn't make the connection between it being a body and it being in a food warehouse.
Yeah.
But I kind of thought maybe she couldn't quite grasp what it was at first, maybe like her mind couldn't absorb what she was seeing. And I thought maybe it wasn't obvious that it was a body. Like maybe it was like, I don't want to be too gory, but I'm going to be. It might have been like body parts and like not something you'd recognize right away. My theory, I'm just going to put it out there, maybe brains, like they're taking like neurotransmitters out of those brains or something that's very unique. And that's why they need it for like the hive mind. And so maybe you look at a pile of brains and you don't necessarily recognize what they are right away, but then you do.
Yeah, but okay. Again, devil's advocate. I feel like if I saw a pile of brains, even if I didn't instantly recognize them as brains, my first reaction would be like, "Ugh, what the fuck?" Like it wouldn't be, what's that? It would be like, that's disgusting. What is that? Like I would immediately have a reaction to like something gross. Like, so, but I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just trying to figure out the look. And I feel like once we know next episode what exactly it is she saw, we can piece together the look.
Yeah.
Because at first I was thinking something similar. Maybe she's looking at like liquefied goo. and
Yeah, could
like a
be.
melted body, and then she sees
Yeah.
maybe like some blood, and then maybe she sees a
Yeah.
piece of
Or
bone.
she sees a hand or something,
Yeah,
and
it could be something
who
like that
knows? Could
too.
be something like that. There's a definite sound, I think, when she pulls that, cover off. It sounds
Mhm.
like it was slightly, like, stuck to something, not stuck,
Yeah,
stuck, but, like, there's something wet, I'm gonna say there.
yeah,
It
yeah.
sounds like the sound of something being pulled off of something that's a little wet, shall we say. So that's where, yeah, body parts, bodies, something like that makes perfect sense. My question to you, Annie, is when will we find out the truth of what she saw, or at least what she thinks she saw? Will we find out at the beginning of next episode? Will we find out at the end of next episode? Because she's not going to necessarily go running out of the warehouse and say, I can't believe I saw dead bodies. We don't
Right. Oh, yeah.
necessarily, and we know that, the way that the episodes have been structured, we often see these kind of almost like cliffhanger like endings, and then we kind of skip a couple of scenes at the start of the next episode. So
Yeah.
when will we actually find out what she thinks she saw? What's your thinking?
I'm gonna think like I'm gonna say halfway through the episode. I actually have a prediction.
Okay, let's hear it.
I mean, this the only thing that I am taking this from is the things that we saw in the teasers. So if
Yes.
you
Okay.
don't like to hear that or don't want to be spoiled, just mute me for 15
Should I
seconds.
should I mute you too? But no, that's okay. I'm
No,
I'm
no, no. I
listening.
mean, I'm not basing this off anything but that. I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing theories on Reddit or not seeing any. And also, if you follow my Twitter, you probably also know what I think. But I think she is going to go to Vegas because we know she does that in the teaser,
We do.
and she's going to go to confront Kumba Diabate because she knows he's there, and in
Yeah.
front of all these people. It's, him and the hive
Yeah.
mind, whoever people, she's going to say this thing. Oh my
Yeah.
God, they're drinking. It's Soylent Green is people. Like,
Yeah.
she's going to have
Yeah.
the Charlton Heston moment. But they're going to then somehow prove her wrong, or they're going to be like, no, it's a misunderstanding or whatever. And thus,
Mm,
ostracizing her even more, embarrassing her,
yeah.
ostracizing her even more. But I feel like I don't even think she's going to say it or we're going to know it until there's like some moment where she's going to spit it out to everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's kind of my theory too, I think. I think we won't find out until well into the episode. It might even be like near the end, possibly.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I like your idea that she's going to be very publicly embarrassed. I think it is entirely possible that there will be questions raised about, did she see what she thought she saw?
Yes.
And I think there's a good chance, if this is my theory, and I might be completely wrong, but I think there might be a good chance that we as viewers will question whether Carol's right or wrong. And maybe Carol herself will question whether she was right or wrong. And I think it might be left ambiguous for several episodes, maybe till the end of the season. Who knows? What did she really see? We might as the audience, we might as viewers go back and forth and originally
Right.
think she definitely saw bodies, and then for a while think, nah, they weren't bodies. And so I think that could be interesting if it goes that way.
See, and I think you're right. Part of that is right. I think we're going to know she saw bodies. Like I have a
Mhm.
feeling but the thing that we're going to go back and forth on is what is actually happening to the bodies.
Yeah,
Or
what are they for?
what are they for? What is actually being done to them? Is
Mm.
it what she thinks? Is it the worst case scenario that she's thinking of? Or
Mhm.
is it something they're going to somehow figure out a way to justify? Is
Yeah.
it, if they really are like liquefying people and drinking people, is that like, okay, and what does that mean? Like, what does it do for
Yeah.
them?
Yeah, why are they doing it?
Why are they doing it? And then also, is this the kind of thing? And I mean, I was trying to think, is there a non-sinister explanation for drinking liquefied human? And I feel silly saying it, but I'm trying to think from the hive's perspective, okay?
Yep.
And
Yep.
I've been reading a lot of dystopian fiction lately. I've kind of been in a groove. And
All right.
in the book Brave New World, There's people kind
Mm.
of, everybody's sort of the same. I don't want to say it's similar because it's very different, but just the idea of
Mm.
everybody being in this blissful state of happiness
Mhm.
and they're all the same and everybody shares everything and they don't think of death as something negative. Like they
Right.
don't see it as a bad thing. It's just kind of a thing that happens and they're conditioned to believe that.
Mhm.
And so
Mhm.
if the hive is feeling that way too, they don't necessarily, and this explains too, like Zosha doesn't seem to think that there's anything wrong with talking about Helen. She loved you very
Yeah.
much. Blah, blah. Like they don't see death as
Yeah.
like a sad thing.
No,
So
it's totally fine.
yeah, so it could be some sort of strange combination between, well, we have all this useful sustenance, we're
Mhm.
going to be efficient and we're going to
Yep.
use it.
Yeah.
And as horrifying as that is, and obviously that's not okay,
Mm.
from their perspective, they think that they're probably doing something that's very,
Yeah.
I can't think of the word, but like,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
guess efficient is the best word I could come up with.
Yeah. No, you know what? I agree that the question, I don't think that they're killing people for the purpose of eating them. I don't think there's any indication of that. I don't
No,
think that that's something they would do.
no,
But we do know that they have a very large supply of dead bodies because of
right.
how the event happened.
And we
And
were
we did
wondering what they were doing with them all. Like,
now we know why they were gathering up those bodies.
yeah,
And when we first meet Zosha, she's loading them into a milk
milk
truck.
truck. Yep.
And so this is obviously something they've been doing all over the world. So they're probably not killing people for that purpose, but they have these dead bodies.
Mm-mm.
And so, yeah, the question is, what's the morality of, let's just call it what it is, cannibalism?
Right.
Is it ever okay to consume some product of the human body if it serves a purpose? Why
Well,
not?
here's the thing: is like you could go to, what is it, the movie Alive with the soccer team in the
Yeah.
mountains, and they have to eat each other to survive or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, okay, if it's for survival,
Mhm.
like would I do it? I don't know, but like I
Mm.
can sort of look at it as from a moral perspective and think, okay,
Yeah.
well, if somebody's has died, not that you're killing them to eat them, but if someone has
Mhm.
died and you're starving,
Yeah.
then I don't know. I don't think it's morally objectionable to live.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like,
It's a complicated question.
yeah,
It's a
but
lot
at
more
this,
complicated than killing someone to eat them,
oh yeah, but
which they're not doing in this case.
no, I don't think they're doing that, and I also don't think they need these people to survive. That's the second part of that.
Well,
There's
I guess that's the
plenty food.
question. Yeah, that's just it. There's a whole warehouse full of food. Why do they
Yeah,
need this stuff? And it's Carol seems to think it's pretty much the only thing that they consume, which is an interesting question in itself. I found it interesting that in that very, very short scene that we saw of Lakshmi and Ravi appears to be eating ice cream, maybe.
ice cream.
So
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe in his part of the world, they're using ice cream as the medium for this
Well,
powder. Who knows?
but they obviously were all eating food at the
Yeah, at that
Spain at the
lunch,
lunch.
yes.
Like
They
they all were
obviously
eating normal food.
they can eat normal food,
Yeah.
certainly, but
And
maybe
she
they
said, Zosha even told her, she said, "Are you a vegetarian?" And she said, "That would be
yeah.
there's a long pause. And then
Yes.
she says, "That would be our preference," which is a very
Preference.
interesting answer.
Very interesting. 'Cause that's not an answer, really. It
No.
doesn't say she didn't say yes.
Mhm.
It's definite that would be our preference. So, like,
That basically
yep,
means we'll eat the meat if we have
if
to.
we have to, we'll eat
Yeah.
the dead bodies if we
Right.
have to. So, yeah, look, it's another one of those things. Looking back on it, it's like, oh, that seems to have a slightly different meaning to me now.
Mhm. But that's an interesting thing for her to say in terms of like, okay, do you have to be doing this?
Yeah,
And if you
yeah.
do, why? Why do they have to be doing this?
Why are
Is
they doing
this
it?
magic elixir doing something to maybe keep
Yes.
them connected, like Carol
Yeah.
suggests?
Yep.
Um,
Is that how they form the psychic connection? Or maybe
right.
it's just what's blissing them out. Who knows?
Yeah, that could be it.
But this is something obviously that's part of the instructions they received, I presume, from these alien instructions.
Mhm.
The alien instructions told them how to create this virus, and somehow inherent in this information that is inside them is also this imperative to create this liquid for them to consume, because this is
Mhm.
something that would not occur to them naturally as humans. So there's some reason this is something that's been there's some kind of a recipe that is inside them that they are carrying out. But why?
And there's obviously, this isn't an endless supply. Like it's going to last them quite a while, but it's not going to last them forever. And then what do they do? Then do they start killing people? Or is this like when the babies are being born? Are they dying? Like, I don't even want to think about that. But you know what I mean? Like,
that's a good question.
How is this sustainable would be a question. And then I was just thinking about, it didn't occur to me until you just said it. And I think it's a great idea. The idea that them basically living off the sustenance of these other people is what's blissing them out. That's actually a really good theory. And just on its face, the idea of like feeding off the dead to keep yourself happy, there's something there. There's something to that idea.
There's something going on there, possibly. All I can say is, thank God, we all know exactly where Helen is, so we don't have to worry about her body being used. Thank goodness. Thank you, wolves, for helping to confirm that.
Right. Yes, that's true.
Thank God, for that. But it's going to be very interesting to find out there's so many questions here. What is it? Where's it coming from? Why are they drinking it? What's going on? It's a very interesting moment. I think this is a turning point, probably. We'll see, of course, in the future. But I think this is a turning point in the season in terms of, up until now, it's just been about, you don't want to join the hive mind, do you? But now it's a question of, you don't want to be someone who eats humans, do you? So it just ratchets things up to another level. And from sort of a real world perspective, this scene and this episode seems to have really caught fire across the internet. And I've had people come up to me who know that I'm doing this podcast saying, I have to talk to you about that episode. So I'm glad to see people are really excited about this twist and really curious about what it means. And so I'm glad that it's getting a lot of attention. And the only other thing I wanted to say about it as well is, it occurred to me at the end of this episode that aside from the scene in Paraguay, I think every scene since Carol was introduced in episode 1 has been from Carol's perspective, essentially. She's been in every scene. So we don't know what the hive people are up to when she's not present. We have no idea. And it occurred to me how little we actually know about what's going on in this world outside of what Carol has seen of it. And
or what Zosha's telling her.
And what Zosha's telling her. And so I realized there's an infinite number of revelations to come. And I'm very excited about that.
Oh my God. Yeah. I just keep finding myself. And of course, this episode dropped early. So it's like an even longer wait for the next one.
So mean. I know. How dare they make us wait extra long after that? Just horrific, but very fun. And this is the first time I've watched a Vince Gilligan show live. I watched Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul after they had long finished airing. And, late to the party. But you got me on board, Annie. Finally. So this is my first rodeo with watching a Vince Gilligan show as it airs. And I am loving it. It's so much fun from week to week, seeing what genius things he and his fellow writers and directors are coming up with. And it is fascinating. And I'm so delighted to see how much Pluribus is catching on in popular culture and in the zeitgeist. People are really getting into it, and I couldn't be more delighted. My husband is also very excited because he said, for once we are in on the ground floor on a show that's becoming popular.
Exactly.
So we're both pretty excited about that.
You don't have to be like, what are all these people talking about? I have no idea.
Which is usually how we are.
Yeah.
So
it's exciting.
Like, this is great. Yeah, like we might actually watch the Emmys this year. It's going to be great.
You have to. You must.
I'm going to now. There's one show that I know that's going to have a lot of Emmy nominations, and if it doesn't, I will riot. Not just nominations, but wins.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much to everybody for listening. Let us know your thoughts. I've been seeing them all week, but I want to hear more thoughts and theories. I mean, we're hopefully going to find out next week, hopefully. But let us know at Pluribus Pod, at Twitter and Blue Sky, and at Gmail if you are so inclined to email. And thanks so much for listening, and we'll be back with you next week on Pluribus Diaries.
Bye.